Ever since Roman Reigns has his royal, ever since Roman Reigns returned to SmackDown last night, when he was set by Adam Pearce that he has an opponent, then by the end of the night revealed for who he'll be facing at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, because at the moment SmackDown Live has no main event stars with Drew out with a neck injury. I know that the AJ Styles rumors are true, but we'll speak about that in a later date. Anyways, people had a mixed feeling. Why did they put a Raw superstar in Seth Rollins to face Roman Reigns at the Rumble? Well, even though Seth Rollins is currently in a random stuff within Kevin Owens and scheduled to be in the tag team stuff, and then had a fatal 4-way match on Monday, and then gets a title shot 4 days after that loss, also the fatal 4-way matchup. Some people are absolutely shocked that we're getting a Survivor Series matchup like 10 months early. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a video on how he has been treated by WWE and why I think it's decent right now. It's just like on SmackDown we don't have main event stars. I would feel the same, and that's why I really support him. I also hope this changes your negative hate towards him, because he needs all the love right now. So let's go on to the video on why do I support Roman Reigns. Enjoy and leave the like and the subscribers so you don't miss any content on this channel. So let's get started with Lee Key. So you guys know in FCW, Roman Reigns wrestled as Lee Key. Roman Reigns went by the name of Lee Key, who wore the trunks. And that was long before he had the back tattoo or the chest tattoo. He was wrestling in the trunks. He wasn't wearing wrestling pants like he does nowadays, even in his promos. He has been wearing the trunks. He also wore these in NXT when he first came to WWE in 2012. Roman Reigns, and that was at the time when I just thought at last, when Roman Reigns came over to the WWE in 2012 before the Shield reunion, I thought it was pretty much a dumb decision, honestly, because it's just not worth it to imagining it's Lee Key and Roman Reigns all at the same time. Like, what logic makes sense? Logic can make sense at times. So we now move on from Lee Key from FCW 2010 and WWE 2012 before the Shield we started, which is going to bring me to next subject, which is next up is on why I support Roman Reigns is the Shield reunion in a Shield 2012 to 2014. People are saying that in the Shield in 2012, this was one of the best things about him before he got shoved down our throats. Even though I believe he had a world title match during the Shield days in 2012 and 13, and he has had okay matches. Like, the matches I remember is him versus Team El No and Ryback from TLC 2012, and there was so many good stuff on that going on. And then I thought that the matchup at Elimination Chamber was pretty strange on his match with Cena and Ryback and Sheamus at 2012's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. That was a pretty strange run, along with Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus from WrestleMania 29. That was pretty shocking. And then after that, has been going through a lot of disputes with the likes of Team Hell No. Team Hell No, of course, since WrestleMania 29, all the way to winning the tag team titles. And then were personally the Authorities' bodyguard in 2013 when Daniel Bryan were beefing them. And then, after that, they went a rivalry with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. And then, they moved on to the Wright family. Yeah, so, and then they feuded with the Wright family, and then Road Dogg, the New Age Outlaws, and Kane, and then Evolution, and then that led into the heel turn of Seth Rollins that people were saying before that happened, the heel turn in 2012. And then after that, he went on to get shoved down our throats, started from 2015, and it's still continuing to today's age. Because in today's age, he's still in our throats. And how do they get them out? How does we get them out of the throats? The answer would be, well, we're going to get into that in a moment. But we now move on to back to where we were. Roman Reigns was legitimately, he just wasn't getting enough pops when he was a babyface, and even he went on to, after the Shield's breakup, to win the WWE Champion 3 times. He won it at WrestleMania 32. He won it on the War After TLC and Survivor Series before. They're getting cashed in by Sheamus. And I think that's it. Other people would turn off their TV if he won the Money in the Bank contract in 2015. That was at the time when they didn't think of it at first, but they thought wrong on how it does get to the current state. Oh boy, they were wrong, because the time went on, it got very worse since the very beginning. And then in 2016, once he lost his WWE champion and then didn't take the WWE title to Monday Night Raw, he went on to win the United States champion, and that was one of the things that, it was the very beginning stages of Roman Reigns getting shoved down our throats. But if you thought that people was thinking about this, I think more. Because the next subject we're going to talk about is the next one to prove the evidence is on why I suppose and why Roman Reigns' babyface was hated in 2017. Roman Reigns got number 30 in the Royal Rumble match, which people would have preferred a Finn Balor, a Samoa Joe, or just someone better than Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns got number 30, which pissed the people off about why Roman got number 30. And even though I was a fan of him at the time, I got pissed off on that night. Or even though I looked at it on YouTube, pretty much. I just don't go to pay-per-views. Then, after that, people got tired of him in 2017 before he won the Intercontinental title on an episode of Raw. People were tired because every time the general manager, WWE has feeded him part-timers in, what are the names? The names are The Undertaker and John Cena. When these two got a win, people realized how much does everyone hate Roman Reigns. So after that moment, and then the one of the evidence, and one of those are the ones that me and Bill in production hated. That is the "You can't wrestle" chant. The "You can't wrestle" chant is so stupid. Like, he can wrestle. Like, it was. I think it was they still using that to this day against him, unless if I'm basically referring to older Roman Reigns. And then they kept chanting "You can't wrestle" still to this day. Because the only, like, I mean, look at him. The moves he has, a Superman punch as a signature. A spear has a finisher. And then the guillotine lock has a finisher. What sense makes that? Anyway, back to, now we move on to the next up. Which is before his match with John Cena and Undertaker. He was in matches with Braun Strowman, and then at Fastlane he beated him, and then then you move on to, what is it? To the to Fastlane. He beat it to Braun Strowman that night, and it was a great matchup. And then after his rivalry with Undertaker, they continued it. And then on that night at Payback, people were happy when Braun Strowman beat up Roman Reigns after the match. He even hurt his stomach with a steel steps. I thought people were actually happy. That was probably because they were haters of him at the time. Look, you may not be a Roman Reigns fan, like, even if it's older generation or newer generation, but I can appreciate that. Then next up, the next one we have to talk about, the next one we need to talk about is, and then 2 months late, and then I think it was, and then a month and 2 months later, in May and July, Roman Reigns came back after a week hiatus because he got hurt with steel steps and injured Strowman's elbow, and then people were happy when Strowman came back and hurted him. That was probably because they were Strowman fans, not a Roman guy. They hated him ever since. And then we go to July. Roman Reigns got payback for payback. It's a payback on top of payback. Not only from payback, like from the pay-per-view, but then from 19th of June, when he was put in a one-on-one match with Samoa Joe. And then he legitimately killed him in an ambulance match, and made Strowman a very good guy. And then after that, proceeds slowly to move on to the Universal Championship division, and then Strowman got added to the frame. And then after that, he challenged Cena when Cena moved over to Monday Night Raw in 2000 on the night after SummerSlam, and then he beat Cena that night at No Mercy, and then did a Shield reunion, which people may have mixed feelings. Like, they liked it, but they hated it today because they just hated Roman Reigns at the time, and the Shield reunion didn't help it. They did not save him, his accolade, and his agenda on making it so cool. He was getting hated doing the Shield reunion, and then that Shield reunion got left short because he had got the stomach, something like that, to miss out TLC, which that is really bad. So next up, now we're gonna start with the next ups. So next up on why I support him is the next reason why I support him in the Shield, the second Shield reunion after coming back from Stomach. I appreciated the second reunion, but was there just something good coming out of it? You would have to say otherwise. But at the end of the day, it was just all about utilizing other superstars and trying to give it to Roman Reigns. And then the Shield at the reunion, unfortunately though, they had another breakup. Because Dean got an arm injury, and then a week after the reunion, Roman Reigns won the Intercontinental Champion, and people still got tired of him winning any champions, even if it's the mid-card or the world title. Which is going to bring me to the next evidence, is the Universal Champion. So after Roman Reigns lost his champion on Raw 25, and then the week after the Raw 25 and the night after the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns moved on to the Universal Championship, and then he got a qualifier in the name of the Bray Wyatt. He got a qualifying matchup, and then Roman Reigns beat Bray Wyatt, and then people were tired that he didn't get a spot that he got a spot in the Elimination Chamber match, proving Bray Wyatt was dead at the time. And then people were hoping he didn't win the Chamber. Like, people were saying Cena, Balor, Seth, or Strowman for me, not Roman. Roman could just get released, and he should count on the reasons why he sucked. That was what the people said at the time. Is it just me or something like that? Anyway, next up. The next piece of evidence. The next evidence we do have. The next evidence. And then after that, he won the Chamber, which people were pissed off about. And then they were pissed off about the WrestleMania matchup. I was so mad at it as well. Like, remember I looked at it on YouTube and I just got so furious at the match. The matchup sucked. It sucked. And then, after that, they had another bout. Like, I think it was 20 days later at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Because Lesnar signed the contract that he wants to put the title on the line against Roman Reigns inside a steel cage match. And then after that, Roman Reigns was simultaneously lying that he won the matchup when his foot did not go out first. His feet were on the rope. his feet was on the cage last, and because of that, Brock won, and then he lied and lied and lied and lied again. And then after that, let's go to next up, I think this is the third Universal Championship chase. The next version of the Universal Championship chase is, after Brock took time off after the Greatest Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns has had some rivalries in the names of Bobby Lashley, Jinder Mahal, and Samoa Joe. These were the three guys he was facing at the time while Brock was away, right, due to the part-time contract. And the people who liked Roman Reigns at the time and were tired of the Brock Lesnar because of the part-time contract, people were hoping that he beats him at SummerSlam, because Roman got his third Universal title match against Brock Lesnar because he beat Bobby Lashley on the 23rd of July 2018 episode of Monday Night Raw. And then got his match, and then the last 3 weeks he was separated from him, and then SummerSlam he won the Universal Championship, which was a great moment, but people hated that moment. Even JD from New York 206 had that problem when he made the hate comment. People made a hate comment about that. Next up on the, and then after that, his reign completely sucked, because the first 4 weeks of the reign upon Hell in a Cell, it was so cool, because I really liked the concept. But then when we got to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, this was starting to become the downfall, which is going to take me to the next reason why. What's the problem with face Roman is the Hell in a Cell ending from 2018. Okay, Roman Reigns, the Dolph Ziggler and Drew Mac, while Roman Reigns and Braun was knocked out, conscious, just doing their match, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins fighted outside of the cage, causing Brock to come out and then hit him and get the match to end in no contest. And because Paul Heyman pepper sprayed Mick Foley like he did to Roman Reigns before SummerSlam, he pepper sprayed him. And because of that, people were thinking, was this going to be the last straw? Yeah, and you are actually right, because after that he had matches with Baron Corbin, and then I was scared about the triple threat matchup, but that got cancelled because the next one is leukemia. Yeah, and sorry about my swearing, because leukemia is a bad word. But anyway, next up we have is leukemia. Well, now on the 22nd of October edition of Monday Night Raw 2018, one of the saddest episodes of Raw, even though it was pretty garbage at the time. Roman Reigns came out to the ring not in his clothes. Like, his clothes at the time had shield pants, shield boots, a gauntlet, and then a t-shirt. Well, it's sometimes not a glove and a gauntlet. It's just gauntletless and a gloveless with the t-shirt, the pants and boots. But then he came out in black and white in the tennis shoes, darker blue jeans, and then a black t-shirt with the golden chain on necklace, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And he came out, relinquished the Universal Champion because of leukemia. And that, by the way, that promo was so amazing. Then after that, people were condemning before the return. Was he the reason why Dean Ambrose's Bane character sucked? I don't know. That's just me otherwise. The next problem we have about face Roman is the return in 2019. Roman's return. Vince McMahon announced days before Monday Night Raw that Roman was returning to Raw. And then he did return to Raw. But what did it end up in? A Shield getting reunited once again. Because it was the final reunion, because Dean left the WWE because of the contract. And his opponent on his return, who was it? Was it Jeff Hardy? Nope. Was it Bray? Nope. Was it Braun? Nope. Was it Andre? Nope. We could basically go on for all day. So I'm going to tell you guys who he faced on the return. It was a tag team matchup. And that featured Baron Corbin, aka Happy Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley in a tag team match at Fastlane. One of the pointless matches on the card. Why did they have to put women in a tag team matchup before? And why did they have to do this? Like, I mean, they could have just saved it for like a Royal Rumble surprise. Or an after WrestleMania surprise. Or just, I don't know. And then after that, he had a WrestleMania match with Drew McIntyre, which people want to see one day, no matter what's going to happen. And then, after that, he beat Drew McIntyre, and then basically on the next night of Raw, he was very in tears with Dean, about Dean leaving the WWE. The next problem we have about Face Roman is SmackDown Live. If you guys don't know, Roman Reigns moved over to SmackDown Live in the 2019 Superstar Shakeup, which was very unpredictable. That Roman Reigns was going to go to SmackDown Live, and then he went to SmackDown Live, and by Superman punching Vince McMahon and Elias on his first night, people was pleading that during that time. I think some people pleaded not to give Roman Reigns a WWE title one, because Roman Reigns was on the same show. That was at the time Kofi Kingston was WWE champion when he was in matches, but we're not going to talk about that. And then when he was on SmackDown Live, he was feuding with Elias, Shane McMahon, and Drew McIntyre. And then after that dispute with Elias, Drew McIntyre, and Shane McMahon, he was in a dispute with Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan about with these two the victim who attacked him. And then Buddy Murphy was also part of the storyline. And it just wasn't a good time for Roman Reigns in 2019. Which is going to bring me to the next evidence, is drafted to SmackDown. If you guys don't know, in the 2019 draft, Roman Reigns got drafted to SmackDown Live. aka he got drafted to Fox. And when he made his appearance, he started a long-time feud with Baron Corbin and the Dirty Dogs in Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. When Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler were playing part in the rivalry with Baron Corbin, they were pretty much like the King's Court, if you will, in the Roman Reigns rivalry. And then, who remember, they've been feuding in October in the team, I think it was starting from the Team Hogan versus Team Flair match at Crown Jewel in 2019, all the way that they were forced to work together in the 2019 Survivor Series match. And then, last but not least, you want to know that what seriously pissed me off? And this was one of the cringy endings to SmackDown Live in 2019. And the one I'm talking about is the dog food. When Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler feed him dog food as a revenge for Bobby Roode. Because it happened on the 6th of December 2019 edition. I think it was after Roman beat Dolph Ziggler, and it proceeded to attack Corbin's guards, and it got locked up onto the apron, and it got feeded dog food. Who remember that ridiculous SmackDown Live ending? I still do to this day. The next, and then after that, I think it was like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, he was about to get feeded until the Usos came along in a family versus family feud between the King's Court, aka Baron Corbin, and the Dirty Dogs and Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Then Usos and Roman Reigns. Even though that they didn't have the tag team match at the Royal Rumble, it was just a rematch from TLC, which I didn't mention in the last segment. But the Revival was a part of the feud for a little bit, and then got out of that when a week after the Roman got the feud with the dog food, Kofi was going to be the next victim, and then after that, people were hoping that this was the last bout at the Royal Rumble, but that didn't happen because after that they fighted at the Royal Rumble in a false counter matchup, which people were actually hoping there was going to be the final match of the rivalry. And then after that, they had one final match in a steel cage match at Super Showdown, and that was the cherry on top of the cake. The cherry on top was going to be it. Now that's it for the Roman Reigns drafted to SmackDown. Let's go on to the next segment, which will be Roman Reigns, which is probably going to be the final category of face Roman in this why I support Roman Reigns video, but the video that I'm talking about but the next scene but the last segment is going to be this one, and the last one we're going to be talking about is COVID-19 #1. Now you guys know, on the night after Super Showdown on the 28th February edition of SmackDown Live, Goldberg beat The Fiend at Super Showdown, and then Goldberg came out and decided who he wants to face at WrestleMania, and so many people were not happy in this decision that they gave Roman Reigns the matchup. But let's face it, so many people wanted this matchup ever since Goldberg returned in 2016, and wanted it to have it like a high caliber level than what you got to see in Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, and yeah, I think Roman winning Goldberg should have happened, but then that matchup got cancelled because Roman got pulled out of the event, leaving that Goldberg had to face Strowman as a replacement. Strowman as a replacement was a very bad idea. I remember when I first saw the announcement, I got so angry about that. I just did not like how Goldberg had to put an opportunity title on the guy who has done absolutely nothing in Braun Strowman. And it was a pretty dumb decision to do that. Like, he lost his Intercontinental title 1 month before WrestleMania. And why does he get that title shot in front of no crowd, on the same crowd who rattled when he lost his Intercontinental champion? Like, how could it spoil everything on top of everything? Well, let's find out, because the next thing we're going to be... And after that, Roman Reigns took time off to get covered, ready for his return. And then something came out shocking to me, and that was AJ Styles going to replace Roman Reigns once AJ Styles got traded over to SmackDown with Dirty Dog? My answer to the question was, it was going to be the announcement, but it ended up just realizing that if they replaced Roman Reigns with AJ Styles, was AJ Styles going to be suffering a Roman Reigns agenda? Answer uncleared. The answer was no. He was pumped to the Intercontinental title division. And then people were wondering, was he going to stay on SmackDown Live? The answer to the question is no. Because AJ got drafted over to Monday Night Raw in the draft. But we're not going to talk about that. So basically, but now it is now time to get into I think this is the final moment on why I support Roman Reigns. Like, let's face it, I supported him when he first came up to the main roster. Like, I think I started liking him on the 26th November edition of SmackDown Raw, because when he first came up, I just were like, who the hell is that guy? Type deal. Because when he first came up to NXT, he was wearing the trunks and then moved on to the pants. It's like we see in today's age in his wrestling gear, even in some of his promo type. Anyways, that is all. So now it's time for the main event, which is going to be the head of the table. So you guys don't know, Roman Reigns moved over when Roman Reigns came back at SummerSlam in 2018 and 2021. SummerSlam 2020. Roman Reigns came back and beat the hell out of the Fiend and Braun Strowman to blatantly set up their matchup for next week, for the following week at Payback. And then, last but not least, the cherry on top. But I know some people wasn't happy because they had a relationship going on since August 2020, and it ended recently on SmackDown and a few weeks ago. Anyways, so Roman Reigns is 5 days after coming back to the WWE ever since the 20th March edition of SmackDown, formed himself with Paul Heyman to use him as a client. And then after that, it was all the end because Roman Reigns has fired Paul Heyman about the Brock Lesnar plan for day one. But we're going to have to speak about that in a later time. But anyways, we go to next up, which the next thing we're going to talk about on Roman Reigns is going to be the Universal title one. so many people in today's community don't like it because multiple things. Let's start with number 8. So let's get started with number 1. Let's get started with number 1. He is well, we're not gonna do that right now. But anyways, the matches he's had in these Universal title one was really nice. Like, we had the Jey Uso match at Clash of Champions. Because although pretty much people hated that match because they're not a fan of Roman Reigns. And then you moved on. Then we go to then we have SmackDown season premiere when he faced off against Braun Strowman for the Universal Champion in Braun's last bout with Roman Reigns. And then after that, it was Jey Uso at Hell in a Cell. And he actually transferred Jey Uso to the main event guy as he is today, even though he's in the tag team division. The next one we have is going to be Drew McIntyre. Well, it wasn't a title match. It was just basically a champion versus champion matchup at WrestleMania. I mean, not WrestleMania, Survivor Series, you idiot. The next one we have is Kevin Owens, TLC, the 25th December edition of SmackDown, and the Royal Rumble 2021, and that he faced against Kevin Owens. He faced him 3 times for the title. I'm not kidding, this is the truth. Then after that, Daniel Bryan at Elimination Chamber 2021, of course, Daniel Bryan won the Chamber. We had the triple threat match at WrestleMania. Yeah. We had the triple threat match at WrestleMania. You had the triple threat match at WrestleMania. Of course, you had the triple threat matchup, like I said. Triple threat match at WrestleMania 37. And then Daniel Bryan's last bout on SmackDown Live when he lost to the name of... When he lost to the name of Roman Reigns on the 30th of April edition of SmackDown. And then, last but not least, Cesaro at WrestleMania Backlash. These two went one-on-one in a fantastic matchup. Then we had Edge versus Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, when Roman Reigns beated Edge on that night, which was pretty cool. And then he beated John Cena. And then he beated Edge at Money in the Bank. He beated John Cena at SummerSlam to retain the Universal title. He beat Finn Balor in the most, but let's go to the downfall, which the downfall in these Universal title reign was the cherry on top, which was Extreme Rules, September 27. He was out of action since the 27th. 20 beated because of the turnbuckle finish, and then he beated Lesnar in a disgusting way at Crown Jewel. He lost. He beat Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, and then he beat Big E at Survivor Series, and then last but not least, we had the main, and then last but not least, actually we have one more story to go on why I support Roman Reigns, and that is going to be COVID-19 number 2. Now I know that it wasn't a longer one like the last one, but anyways, Roman Reigns was set to defend the Universal title in match 5 against Brock Lesnar, and then the match got cancelled because Roman opted the event because of COVID-19. And because of COVID-19, Roman Reigns lost his matchup because of COVID-19. And because of COVID-19, Roman Reigns lost his matchup at Crown Jewel, at Day 1 against Brock Lesnar, and led Lesnar a WWE title opportunity against Big E, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Seth Rollins, and it was a great time. The Brock Lesnar had one of those greatest matches that we have seen in WWE today. I will forever, and that was Brock's best match of the night. And then, last but not least, the return. Roman Reigns returned to SmackDown last night to find out who was on the multiple things. 1, to have a segment with Brock Lesnar, and 2, to find out who his Royal Rumble opponent is going to be. And then his Royal Rumble opponent was Seth Rollins, which I'm so happy because Kevin Dunn or Nick Cohen realized that they have not done the match yet, and because someone is out with a neck and all the main event division on SmackDown is dead at this point. So they sent a Raw superstar to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, and because of that, it was Seth Rollins, who was supposed to be in the tag team with Kevin Owens, but then it got shifted. It just says right now at the time of the recording. Anyway, I'm pretty happy that we're getting the matchup that I've been wanting at the Royal Rumble. I wish these two are the best of matches. But there are the reasons. So and now I want to tell you all why I've supported Roman Reigns. I have supported Roman Reigns since the end of 2012 when he came up to the main roster. I think I ranked him low in 2012 about the NXT roster. Although he was probably in the top 15 on the NXT roster. And Roman Reigns has been pretty much crucial on who was he in NXT. But anyways, Roman Reigns is going to be a man of his words until the end of time. And I will forever acknowledge him. Even if some people don't want to acknowledge him, I can acknowledge him. In case if you don't want to acknowledge him. But anyway, Roman Reigns is the best superstar on WWE television. And he will forever be until the end of time. No matter... Now, it doesn't matter if you hate him or you love him, because you either love him or you can hate him at the same time. But he's easily one of the best superstars on SmackDown. And Roman Reigns is a man who can do anything he sets his mind onto. So anyway, it's good. And that is pretty good that we're getting the match at the Royal Rumble. Anyway, and yeah, that was pretty much the goodest thing about SmackDown Live from last night. And he's easily one of my favorite things, because normally back in the day he didn't save Monday Night Raw, because some people said, how the fuck is he supposed to save Monday Night Raw? As lost my internet because I want to download the video, because my TV has 52 minutes left and this computer wants to fuck me with the internet. Sorry about my language, but that's the truth about the internet. Anyway, I love Roman Reigns, and I will forever be his biggest fan. No matter if people don't want to acknowledge him, I will acknowledge him until the end of time. Roman Reigns is my idol, and he will be until the end of time. Roman Reigns is a God-forsaken man who is the big dog. The big effing dog. He will always be one until the end of time. But anyways, I will like that it's going to be a good pay-per-view. It's going to be good. Now we see them. But anyways, and it's pretty much nice to see him on television sometimes. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why I love Monday Night Raw, because he saves the day at any time. At any given time. Roman Reigns will forever be the god of SmackDown Live until, I don't know when. Roman Reigns is a man who will do anything he sets his mind onto, and that's the things you need to know about him until the end of time. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it on why I support Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns will forever be my idol. He saves SmackDown Live, and he is so amazing. I am thankful for him. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. And thanks for me, because I support Roman Reigns until the end of time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.